Hello, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from, we welcome you. I am Karen from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, and I'm your host for my 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 Decide series. And every week I've been featuring fellow global digital business owner who have chosen the global online business as their backup plan or Plan A. So today we're very honored to have another amazing guest on our platform today, and her name is Mildred. And before I bring Mildred on stage to share her journey, I wanted to mention that we have been featuring a lot of guest speakers from around the world with different backgrounds, different professions. And if you've been quietly searching online, wanting to have a vehicle to generate a secondary stream of income, then you've come to the right channel. And make sure that you like and subscribe when you have this feed through Facebook or through YouTube. Just remember to do that. Otherwise, you will be missing out insightful information. Now, Mildred, thank you,
Yes.
first of all, for coming to our global live chat platform. Your journey is such a beautiful example of resilience, adaptability, and being open to new possibilities through different seasons of life. So from working as a flight attendant to serving others through social work, and now exploring the global digital business space, I'm really
Mhm.
excited for our global audience around the world to get to know you. Like, what's your story and why? So, Mildred, maybe perhaps for a global audience, if you can share a little bit about yourself, where you're based, and just who are you? Tell us.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Karen, for inviting me here. It is a pleasure. And, I'm grateful that you have invited me here today to share with our audience, our stories. So, okay, where do I start? How did I get into all those, wearing different hats, right? Well, my background is actually in psychology and social work. I went to university and I have my bachelor's, and I started to work, right? In one of the biggest companies back home in the Philippines. I am from the Philippines, but now residing in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And so, but really, my love for travel and aviation, really, it's in my genes. My father was actually a pilot, so that's why it runs in the family. And so I said, why not join the airline and become a flight attendant? And you know what? That's the best thing I've ever done. So I did that for 12 years. I traveled the world, flew the skies all over Europe, Asia, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and Africa, and all that, right? And, just a short story. So after that, came to Canada, and then you have to pivot because you have to start from the bottom. And I started with odd jobs here and there and went back to the corporate world, right? And went back to my field in social work with the government. Yes. So
Oh.
that is in a nutshell. But I was still looking for something, to do because I believe that, you know, um, there is more out there. I started questioning, is this all there is to life? Is this it? And yes, so I was always open to looking for other opportunities. I actually had looked at other businesses before,
Mhm.
and I even became a licensed financial advisor.
Wow.
So, but you know what? When I look back, all of these experiences bring us to where we are today. So I believe it's all God appointed, everything that happens to us, right? So it all makes for a very full, enriching life. And here I
Mhm.
am now. So this business now has allowed me to actually retire earlier. And this is what I do now. I'm the CEO of my own online business. I'm a coach and a mentor.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, I don't know where to begin because you've got such an amazing history and you've got
Mhm.
different expertise in your life. So maybe give us some nuggets from your former role. So as a flight attendant,
Yes.
you already mentioned the goods, right? So what were the not so goods that the global audience may not be privy to?
About
about being a flight attendant?
being a flight attendant. Of course, when they look at you, it's such a glamorous job. Like everybody wants to be a flight attendant, right? Yes, it is a glamorous job, but really it is a serious job. We are trained for safety, for any emergencies. We all need to learn how to swim, number one, especially, where you go. And in the Philippines, we're 1,700 islands. So we're surrounded by water. So, first and foremost, we had swimming lessons. And for me, I'm just so thankful that at so young an age, my parents took us to swimming classes at the local YMCA. So we were all swimmers. So on that note, we were good, right? But all the emergency procedures, what to do in case of a fire, engine fire, how to prepare the passengers, how to prepare yourself too. You have to, it's like grace under pressure. You cannot show the passengers that you are panicking. Even at the back of your head, it's like, okay, what's going to happen to us? We're going to crash and die, right? But you cannot show the audience that. So you have to have a presence there so that the passengers look at you and they feel safer. They feel more secure because you are in charge of that situation and all of that. And of course, food prep and all that, how to serve passengers, how to gracefully answer them and talk to them. And it's a well-rounded training, actually. And I'm so glad I went through that. There's so many wonderful things. Actually, Karen, I was thinking really if I would write a book on my travels as a flight attendant, that would be so interesting.
Yeah, why not, right? And
Yes.
you share some of the behind the scenes responsibilities and uh, gotta learn for flight attendant. And I'm just curious, was there ever a situation where the flight, I guess the flight didn't really function the way it should, and
Mm.
it might have reached the near miss or almost accident
Mm.
kind of scenarios,
Oh,
and
yes.
how did that shift your thinking, if it indeed shift your thinking?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Karen, you're asking these very good questions, really, because now I have to dig into that. And yes, I actually have from the top of my head, I have three emergencies that actually we had to prepare the passengers for emergency landing. First, it was engine fire. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, it's like I look on the side, okay, the engine is on fire. So I went to the cockpit. Yes, we know. The captain, of course, knows already. Prepare the passengers, right? So we have to be calm and quick. We have to be calm and quick. You have to be fast when you're moving. Prepare them, bags under the seat. You know how to, brace yourself for impact. But at the same time, you're also trying to calm yourself and face value your face.
That's the mixed feelings, right, in and of
Yes, it
itself.
is.
That's going to be my follow-up question, but go
Oh
on.
my
Yes.
gosh, you cannot even let your pupils dilate because they will see in the pupil that, oh my gosh, she's panicking. No, no, no. Calm under pressure. Calm under
Yeah.
pressure. Again, Karen, I have to say, I really have to thank my parents, right?
Mm.
My father was a pilot. He was a fighter pilot with the Philippine Air Force and, was one of the best as well. And my mother was a medical doctor.
Oh.
So,
So you
you
get
know,
the best of both
both
worlds,
of them, yes,
wellness
both
and
of them
fighter
were,
mode.
yes, exposed to all danger
Mhm.
and all that. The operating room, it can be life and death. But if my mother was there in the operating room, she has to be calm.
Mm.
Under, if everything goes wrong, everything, she has to move quickly and, swiftly. She has to know next thing. If this happens, this is what you do. If this happens, this is what you do. So I guess the best of both worlds.
Mhm, mhm. Very, very
Mhm.
blessed, very blessed.
Yes.
So were you able to actually keep that balance, like stay in calm on the outside, even though
Yes.
inside you felt so stressed out?
Do you know, you will never really know how you will react until it happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had all this training in the swimming pool. We had to jump off the slide, if it was an emergency landing and we have to jump off the slide onto the ground, right? Um, we had all that in
Yes.
theory and in practice. But you will never really know how you will react until you are faced with that exact same dangerous situation. And
Right.
I'm so glad I did, and I lived, I survived to, share the tale with you. But it is not really until you're there that all of the training that you had before, like years before, right, comes alive. Say, okay, this is what I do. It's what you do. So, it's there. It's because you learned it every single day. You were not absent. We could not be absent from any training. If we
Mm-hmm.
were, we'd be out of training. That is how
Ah.
strict they were.
And there were
Yes,
no simulations, right? Back then, it's not like there was simulator where you can go in, and then the pretend plane would start like shaking, and then you would have to
no, that would
go,
only
right?
be the
It's
pilot with
all
the
right,
simulators.
right, right. So it's all
But for
theory
us,
here, and then
exactly.
apply as it happens. So,
Yes.
and again, all these hypothetical questions. When you were calm, yet your fellow colleagues were not calm, like they're basically like frantic and then getting very stressed out, then what happened if that
Well,
indeed
I would
happened?
remind them, just be calm. I would talk to them in a very calm voice. Remember, they're all looking at us, and
Mm-hmm,
how we react is how they will react too. So
mm-hmm,
we have to stay calm, in spite of the fact that at the back of my head, I'm like, oh my Lord, Lord, you're praying, Lord, please spare us,
mm-hmm.
save us. Yeah.
So
So
when one of these situations happened, did it really change your plan of keeping your profession as a flight attendant? Because sometimes, when life-changing situation happen like that, it might just lead you to thinking, oh, you know what, I want to prevent myself from being placed in a situation like this. Maybe I shouldn't go on as a flight attendant. Has it ever
no,
occurred to you? No.
not at all.
Mm,
No.
okay.
I moved on. I thought I was only going to stay for like a year, 6 months or a year. I said, oh, this is too much. It's just crazy, right? The
Mm-mm.
schedule, the jet lag, the,
Mhm,
the, the, the toll that it takes on your body, jet
mhm,
lag,
mhm.
right?
Yes, the
That's
time
just
zone
only one,
difference. Right.
and all the other factors taken into consideration there. But no, it just gave me the courage to just, I am built for this. I am meant to be a flight attendant.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, you
Yes.
mentioned a very good point, like, the time difference, the long shifts taking a toll on the physical and the mental
Yes.
state, right? And then
Hmm.
also something that you kinda allude to is you have to deal with a wide range of customers, and they could be very nice or not so nice and even unreasonable, and you still have to keep your post and, posture, and then handle their requests even though it might not be reasonable, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And another factor there too, I would say, to the young ladies, if they really want to join the airline,
Mhm.
you really have to have some sort of really strong, solid foundation. Meaning, uh, who are you? You have to know who you are. Who are you? What do you stand for? What are your values? What is your value system?
Mhm.
Because when you are thrown into the world of flying all around the world, it can be overwhelming,
Mhm.
because all of a sudden you're exposed to all countries, all cultures. You are exposed to the high life, like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I can do this, I can be this, I can have that, I can have this. Like, everything is at your fingertips.
Mhm. Mm.
And
Overstimulation.
I'm sorry.
Overstimulation.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So if you're not really grounded, the person can be, I would say, they will have a different look at life, because it's
Yeah.
like it can either be positive or
Mm.
negative.
Yes, yes.
But
Well,
if
I
you're
mean,
grounded,
that goes with every profession, right? You always see
yes,
the good and the bad, and
correct.
if you're not, like you said, if we're not grounded by the proper values, life values, then it could pull us to the right or wrong direction. So
Mm-hmm.
true, so true. Great advice. So then,
Yes.
if we shift gear to your social work experience, obviously you mentioned that this profession helps a lot of people, addressing their concerns or their needs. And what would be the not so good side of being a social worker? Can you share it with our global audience? Because just pull the curtain and let them know, social workers are great from the outside, but some of the things that you may know are as follows. What would they be?
Oh, social work is very, I for my personality is really, I love helping people ever since. I think it's the way we were brought up. We always love to help people, love to be there. I have that. You have to be compassionate with people, especially those who are less fortunate than us, right? So it became like it was second nature to me to work as a social worker. Yes, so we dealt with all new immigrants here in Canada, right? Or refugees, or people who have worked for the longest time. You may be in the corporate world, you have a good job, but life happens. You either get sick or you get laid off, and there's a breakdown of family, and then your savings are kind of, you deplete all your savings, and then you end up in social welfare, right? So it's a good thing that in North America, in Canada, I'll say for Canada because we're here,
Mm-hmm.
that we have this network. We have a safety net. I say we have a safety net that the government is there to really to help us. But in other countries like the Philippines, we don't have that. So
Mm-hmm.
we are privileged. We are thankful that we have that. But on the second hand, you're exposed to all this. And sometimes also it can bug you down because you are also able, you might be bringing home all those problems,
Yeah.
all those, at home. So
Emotions
you
too.
have to have a boundary. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is it. That is my job. I go home now to my family because
Mm-hmm.
it can also affect you.
Well, it's probably easier said than done because we're all
Yes.
emotionally attached human beings, right? And
Yes, we are.
and I could imagine you handle multiple cases in a day, and your subconscious mind is also solving problem even when
That's
you
right.
don't,
Yes.
intentional.
Hmm.
So then,
Hmm.
you mentioned you're now retired from both profession, right? Both
Yes.
and social work. And at what point, can you remind the global audience, did you start looking online or looking alternative way of generating income? Like, did you look for traditional way of generating income, or you went straight to the online space?
No, it was the traditional way. Ever since I can remember, I've always been like some sort of an entrepreneur, right? Even when I was a flight attendant, we would bring things from, either if we were in, we flew to Australia, we'd bring home like cheese or, packed meat. And
Yeah.
my friends would come to the house. What did you bring? Oh, I have this. Okay, let's buy that. Or
Mhm,
from the
mhm.
US, right?
Right.
Or wherever we're from. So I've always loved doing that, right? And so coming to Canada now, yes, I was still doing that. But then when I became a solo parent, you know, um, that really changed the trajectory of my life. That
Mhm,
is when I said, okay, something's gotta change here. I gotta look for an alternative, an additional source of income, really to help me and my family.
mhm.
So I looked, I prayed, and I tried other businesses as well, right? But there was a time like my one of the rooms was filled with products, but I didn't have time to sell. It's like,
Too
forget
busy.
that. I just gave them all away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I said, no, there must be something. I never gave up,
Mm.
Karen. I
Oh,
always
but before
was.
you get into the online business, maybe you can share your experience, like all the business that you try or
Mhm.
attempt to explore, and what are they, and why didn't they became your final destination? Because I think a lot of our global audience, they're in the same situation, searching,
Yes.
testing, right? So maybe you can give the global audience a glimpse of what actually you tried before you tap into the global online business.
So true. Maybe they can learn from us, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
I tried other businesses, right? Not online. So it's like, they were like, yes, there's a wellness company as well. And then you have to purchase products on a monthly basis. But then you also have to sell. You have to sell. I said, well, I'm so busy with my full time job. I don't really have time to sell,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I continued that. I think I continued that for almost a year
Mm.
until one of my rooms got filled with
Too much
products.
products.
And my family and friends were so happy because I just gave them all away.
Mm,
Listen, I don't have time to sell this. Okay,
right.
which one do you want? You want this vitamins? You want this? Okay, get it. Just get it.
Yeah.
Right? You learn. But
Mhm,
it's trial and error. But it didn't stop me. I continued to look. I continued to look until I also said, oh, why don't I become a financial advisor?
mm,
And I did. I
mhm,
got licensed in Ontario
mm,
and I really loved it. Because of that, Karen, I learned more about finances.
mhm,
That really helped me. Dave Ramsey's book, right? And,
mhm,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, those
mm,
books, that really helped me to
mhm.
where I am. But I said, I don't really like running after people.
Yeah.
And then I continued to pray until I saw this. I said, let me look at this. This is something different, right? But at
Ah,
first I said, are they real people or are they just actors, paid actors to say
right,
what
right.
needs to be said, right? Until I saw the right people there and I said, aha, this is it. I think this is my answered prayer.
So for the purpose of our global audience, what exactly did you see that led you to this online business opportunity?
Actually, I saw our head coaches,
Ah,
Dave and Roxanne. So there
mhm,
were Filipino too, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
that in itself, there was already a trust factor there.
mhm.
And also of the reason because they were also from the same province I was. They were
Oh,
also
okay.
from Cebu
Oh,
City, and they were
okay.
also from Cebu. So that in itself, I said, oh my gosh, yeah, there was already a trust factor. So then I get this is the answered prayer. So this
Nice.
was 5 years ago now.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
so is it fair to say that you connect with that content right away and you didn't take like months, years to take the next steps?
No, Karen, I did not finish the videos. I just said, okay, let's do this. Okay, what's my next
Ah,
step?
okay,
Do this.
okay,
Okay, what's my
okay.
next? Just do it. I didn't.
Yeah, yeah, because it
I
spoke to
went
your
full
core.
blast.
Yeah, okay, got it, got it. So you quickly jump to the next steps to learn
Yes.
about the global online business, about how it provides a system for you to leverage and not having to
Yes.
chase after people, not having to buy a lot of inventory
I
or
loved it. It
at
ticked all
all,
the
right?
boxes.
Yeah, tick
Yes.
all the boxes. And were you very tech savvy?
Oh, Karen, I know enough to do my job, you know, at work. That's it. But all the others, if they say, no need, you can learn. Okay, I'm up for that. Okay, sign me
Mhm.
up right away. So yes, I was open to learning because I
Mhm.
believe in lifelong learning.
Yes. But for
I've
people
always
who's
had like
not eh,
courses or anything to
yes.
augment my knowledge, right?
Yes, because clearly, because you've kept learning, from flight attendant to social work to financial and
Yes.
to
Yes.
traditional business. But for some of our global audience, they might be like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not tech savvy, I'm not very good at this and that." Like, what would you advise them to really take a good look at this opportunity? Because I think a lot of people undersell themselves or underestimate themselves. They're like, oh, you know what, I think Mildred, Karen, they look very entrepreneur filled, and I'm just a typical person. I have no idea like how the online space work. What would your advice be for them?
You know what? I know this is normal. You will think that. I say just keep an open mindset. Keep an open mindset. Just go in there. Even if you don't know, we don't expect you to know everything 100%. Just go in and take a look at the cost-free webinar. And there it will open your eyes to that. And then go further again to the next step, find out more about the company, the products, the compensation package. I'm telling you, Karen, when I saw that compensation package, I couldn't unsee what I
Yeah.
saw. I couldn't sleep. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this is it.
Yes, yes. And now you mentioned just now products, just for the sake of our global audience.
Mhm.
We don't sell products,
No, no,
but
no.
yeah,
And
we don't
that's
sell
why I love
products,
this.
and that's
No.
why the secret sauce resides in the behind the scenes info session, which you're going to have to find out
Yes.
yourself. And then
Yes.
I was like you too. The compensation model, the patent compensation model, was what caught my attention,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched that a couple of times just to let it
Mm-hmm.
sink. Did you also watch a couple of times the compensation?
No,
Well, no, just
I didn't
once.
even finish. Yeah, I'm telling you. I
No, but
knew.
the compensation model, you need to.
Oh no, no, no.
Wow.
I just saw it. I said, "Oh my gosh, no, this is it." Okay,
Yeah.
sign me up. Okay, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah,
Okay, just tell
that's
me.
right. So really, and you mentioned that it's been 5 years now, right, since you started the online business. So if you could share with the global audience, what has changed the most for you personally? What would you say that be?
Okay, I think a very important thing to really say here is at the time when I discovered this, that was 2020,
Hmm.
right? So almost 6 years now. That was the global pandemic.
Hmm.
And I knew from our job because we were talking to a lot of our job was to help people get employed so they can get off the system. So I
Mhm.
would facilitate workshops on how to go for an interview, how to do your resume, how to answer difficult interview questions and such, and motivation and all that. And so we knew from the employer's perspective that companies were going to shut down, people were going to be laid off, and
Mhm.
sooner or later, all levels in the corporate world and government will be affected. So I
Mhm.
said, I need to do something now. And that's when I started that, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what has changed? A lot. Because this is exactly what I prayed for. I really, when I think of retirement, retirement for me is still being active, still doing what you love to do, still living a purpose driven life. You know, at this time, in our lives, we have accumulated so much knowledge, experiences to share with a lot of people. You
Mhm.
don't want that to just go to waste.
Yeah.
But I understand some people, right? But for me, really, it is really this is an avenue where we can share our knowledge, share our experiences, and from there also be able to help other people.
Mhm.
Whereas otherwise, they won't know what this is all about, right?
That's right. That's
So, as I believe in ongoing learning, because once I know that once we stop learning, we stagnate. Once we do that, you deteriorate. I don't want that to happen to me.
right. Mhm. Mhm.
So
Well,
go.
you touched the right point here. I mean, what a lot of people, I guess, when they're so used to a certain way of living and
Mm,
working, they tend to stay inside their comfort zone,
yes,
right?
I get
And
that.
yeah, and for people who want something more, um, they are hesitant or afraid to take that uncomfortable step.
Hmm, hmm.
So, were there moments where you felt uncomfortable or stretched outside your comfort zone after you've became a global online business owner? And then how did you navigate through that?
I think the more important thing here is because we are surrounded by an amazing community that really supports us, motivates us. We have lots of training sessions, we have our coaches, we have our mentors. So you are never alone. During the pandemic, I'm telling you, a lot of my other friends or people I knew, they were sad. They felt isolated. They felt like depressed, right? Stressed
Mm,
out.
mhm,
I did not feel any of that at all.
mhm,
And why? Because I was already in the business. And that was when we started learning about Zoom, like how to
mhm.
go on a Zoom call. Like,
Yeah.
in that Zoom it really, it just skyrocketed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody started to, meet online, work at home, and things like that. That is where everything started to change. And honestly, I did not feel it. Although, yes, it was sad. So many, sad things happened. But for me personally, I did not feel isolated at all, even
Mm-hmm.
if I was working from home, because I still worked from home after that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the very first time that the government, we never work from home, especially our department, because we are client facing. The
Right.
clients come to us and we help them.
Yeah.
And so it was the very first time in so long that, all of a sudden IT had to be called on. Okay, prepare everybody. They need to be working from home. And just in a day, we were at home. See the change there. But I
Mm-hmm.
never felt isolated.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Mm.
it sounded like it was more of a reactive from the government side, reactive mode, quickly, gotta
Yes.
change things, put all the Zoom integrations and all of that. And would it be nice if we are proactively involved in something that could be our backup plan B, so
Yes.
that whenever something unexpected happen, you have a safety net, so to speak, right? So and
Correct.
I know again,
100%.
yeah, and I know again some of the global audience might say, "Oh, but I just don't know what to do, where to start. It's hard to start a business from scratch, and where am I going to learn all these things? And I have a busy life, I have a profession, I have a career, I've got kids, I've got family." What would you share with a global audience who just share all of the above factors, but still wanting something more for their life?
Take a leap of faith. That's it. Take a leap of faith. Don't let fear stop you from going to the next step. Just take one step at a time, right? One step at a time. But
Hmm.
just do it. Move. What did they say? If you don't like where you are, move, because we're not a tree. Well, even trees are transplanted, right?
True, true, true.
So move, do something about it. Instead of complaining, oh my gosh, I don't like my job. I'm getting burned out. I'm so stressed. I'm going on stress leave. Okay, well, if you've been there for a while now, do something about it. Find something better. And that is what I've been doing ever since.
Hmm.
If I don't like where I am, I try to find something else, right? And
Hmm.
thrive where you are, thrive in the new environment. Learn the most you can about that particular part of your life right now. And then if that chapter changes, then move on to the next, right?
Hmm.
I've always been like that though,
That's,
Karen.
that's well,
Like,
that's amazing because it allows you to pivot and
yes,
improvise,
we
right?
have to learn how to pivot. I mean,
That's right.
even coming to Canada, that was a huge step, right, for us, because you're comfortable, where you are, your people, where to go. But this is a new country and you immigrate, so that in itself is already adjusting. So
Yes,
can you imagine all those skills? So why don't you, if you're already in Canada, North America, or wherever you are, because we're global, take that first step? Because why not? You can take this business anywhere you go.
totally.
Whether you're on vacation in Punta Cana or going
Hmm.
back to the Philippines, or you're in transit, wherever you are, you can take it with you. It
Right.
really ticks all the boxes. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that we found this.
Yes. Now, without giving too much of a details for a global audience, some of the questions that they might be thinking right now is that, okay, so as a global digital business owner, what exactly do I have to do? Like, how much time do I have to invest in this business? Like, maybe we can give them a high level knowledge as to how much time is
Sure.
involved and what exactly do they have to do, and if they got sick for a week, then what, because I think a lot of people are not exposed to the online business model, and maybe it's good to
Mhm.
give them just enough so that they will take the next steps to learn more on their own, because I truly believe that the power of self-initiated action, because if we just feed them the fish without teaching them how to fish, then it's not going to do them any good, right? So maybe you can share with the global audience, how much time do you invest in your global online business on average?
Excuse me. Excuse me. You know, The wonderful thing here is it is very flexible, right? 1 second here, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
The water went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
It's okay. But the wonderful thing here is it's very flexible, okay? It is your own business. So it's up to you. If you're still working, which most of us still I was still working when I started this. So, little times, maybe in the morning before I start my work, or maybe at lunchtime, I take a look at it. At night, maybe an hour or two, you know. But, when I got really so interested, it's like, oh my gosh, I would spend like 2, 3 hours every night on it. Sometimes I sleep at 1, 2, or 3 because it is so exciting. You don't want to let go of the training. But of course, if you still have young kids, that is the wonderful thing about this. You can really, you know, design it the way you want, what is flexible for you. Now, when I became full time, of course, and I had more time on it, I spend more time, especially with training, right?
Mhm.
But the wonderful thing here really is, you start small, you start one step at a time. It is a learning curve, as with anything, as with going to school, as with starting a new career. So that learning curve is there. For me, it was a little bit steep for me because I wasn't really as learned about technology, but I was open to learning. And
Mhm.
I learned one thing here and one thing there. And then you learn by going onto Google, Chat GPT, AI, and all that. There's so many other resources that can help you
Mhm.
other than your mentor and your coach and the community. There's so much. So I say, if this is really you, if you're stressed out or you're happy with your job and you didn't even know that this was possible, take a look at this, because you will be so happy that you did. Because really, Karen, we have so much fun, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. It's not just the financial side. It's not just money. It's also about growing together as a family. I consider this as my extended family, my
Yes.
community.
Me too, me
That's
too.
why I'm here, right?
Yes.
I'm already going to go actually 6 years now.
Wow,
Six going
six
6 years.
years.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. 6 years into the online business. This
Yes.
is the real deal. Otherwise, people would be coming and going,
Oh
right?
no, this is it. This is it. No,
Yeah.
this is it for me, for the long run, right? So yes, so don't be afraid of the commitment. You haven't even stepped in yet, already thinking, why this? What if this happens? What if? I know that is normal, but just take it one step at a time, and you will be so surprised as you open the books. Oh my gosh, okay, this is possible. Okay, I can do that. Okay, this is possible too, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
keep
And
an
some of the
open
global
mindset.
audience might be questioning, okay, I hear that you guys go through training and it's self-paced. I want to reassure global audience that these are video-based training. We have live, we have replays,
Everything, yes.
everything. It's all at your own pace.
We have
And
drop-in Zooms,
yeah, drop
with
into
daily
and
drop-ins, like
these are part of your business system,
mhm,
and you
mhm.
don't have to pay extra for these ongoing updates in terms of training and all that. Like people pay like 5, 6 figures just
Oh,
to learn
yes,
all the contents that we have readily available for our global online business partners. So this is
yes.
one of the many benefits. And then the other thing that I want to come back was about, global audience would be asking, so what exactly do you guys do? What exactly do you guys do? And again, without sharing with them like 3 hours worth of patent, business, and compensation model, what would you say in one sentence? What exactly do we do? I'll share mine too.
Do you wanna go first, or do you want me to go
Yeah,
first?
sure. So really what we do is we leverage the online space to share the online business opportunity with those who are seeking. And that's why there's no chasing, there's no begging, there's no bothering your family and friends, because this is like a matchmaking algorithm. You know that social media use algorithm, right? And whenever you watch more of a certain topic, let's say I love watching Christians worship songs, and I end up getting more and more in my feed. No different.
Mhm.
The algorithm would lead you to see more of what you've been searching for. So, in the Bible says, when you seek, you find, right? Same idea. So
Yes.
then when you see what you want to explore further, then you naturally take the next steps. And simple as that. So we leverage
Mm.
automation, we leverage algorithm, we teach you how to use systems, automations and algorithm and all of that. And that's why it's so simple, because we're not going through the traditional way of doing business. All right. So again, the patent business and compensation model takes about 2 to 3 hours of explaining, and we're not
Mhm.
here to spell out
No.
everything for you, because all the contents are already available at your fingertips. You just have
Mhm.
to take the next steps. And also, if you're someone who's serious about learning more, then you will have to go through
Yeah.
the motion yourself. We're not here to spoon feed. We're not here to fish. We're here to empower, and we're here to coach. So that's really, in essence, what it is. And you'll have to find out the details yourself. So that's my answer. How about yours, Mildred?
Yes, in simple terms, it's attraction marketing. That's why we are on social media, whether it be Facebook or, YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, social media platform you have. So it's attracting people to see what we do. And it's like a franchise in a box. In a
Yes.
box. Like, you
Yes.
don't have to do everything yourself, because we have a lot of supports. The training is there that you can access to 24/7. And as you grow and learn, then more, and it just opens a brand new world. It's a brand new world. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that this was possible. I didn't even know that there was something like this. So it's just, we are on social media, and we share our lives with you, and then sharing what we do as well. And for people who are looking for something to do, or maybe they want to, of course, augment their income, and then they can start with that,
Mhm.
right?
And some of, again, I'm just speaking on behalf of global audience. I know they will
Hmm.
have this question, is that, well, I'm not on social media. I'm a shy person. I don't even post. Am I still able to do this business?
Do you know that a lot of people did not have social media to start with, but they were open to this possibility, and you can actually do that now. You don't even have to post yourself. There is actually, with the help of course, AI right now and all that, there's a faceless marketing that you can do as well. So you can do whatever you're comfortable with. You're not forced to do what we do here if you don't want to speak live, if you're shy, right? But if you get out of your shell little by little, you find out more about yourself, and then you find out, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I was capable of this, right? If you don't open yourself up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
It's
just
all a
say this.
personal choice at your comfort level, right?
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. Now we're getting close to the 45 minutes mark, so I
Yes.
wanted to quickly wrap up, and so that our global audience will have the chance to take the next steps if they so choose to. Now, we know that it's easy to share what we found with each and every one of you, global audience, but the next step really resides with you. If you have a big why, whether it be you want to create a better version of yourself, or whether because you want to have a secondary stream of income, or whether because you wanted to bring a business with you everywhere you travel around the world, or whether you want to create a legacy to pass on to your next generation, next generation, then, or even a lot of many other reasons, then you should really take a closer look at this, because it wouldn't make sense for everybody who's been featured on our global live chat beliefs see and decide series to share so passionately, and then
Mm-hmm.
you just sit right there and not knowing why so many professionals or entrepreneurs decided to take the steps and tap into global online business. There must be something. There must be a reason. We're like, we have PhD, we have master's degree, we have everybody, researchers, who's part of this community, global community, and you can't tell us that this is a crazy bunch. And you know what? Oftentimes, when the crazy bunch are
Yeah.
labeled as such, they're usually the trailblazers, just like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg, right? A lot of people had the vision, they execute way before everybody else saw and agree with the vision. So it's really up to you to make that next steps. Now, if you were led to this global live chat through Mildred's feed, make sure you go to her website, and her website is shown right below her name. And same thing, if you're led to this global live chat through my feed, the social media feed, you can go to my website and then take the next step. The next step is really simple. You just enter your email address, register into our business system, and the business system will automatically send you the next step relevant information. It could be webinar or combination of webinar and emails that inform you about what this global online business opportunity is about. Now, Mildred, your story is so amazing. It's a beautiful reminder that growth can happen in different seasons of life, and that new opportunities can appear when we're willing to stay open, minded and curious. And, if global audience, if you've been praying, you've been looking for a sign, this is your sign. Don't dismiss it. Follow that small, still voice. Take the next steps. Don't leave regrets, because regrets are costly, right? Yes. And so thank you, Mildred, for sharing your journey so openly with all of us, global audience. And I wanted to make sure that anyone who's got questions, message us, and we're happy to address them. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, make sure you do that as well. So thank you, everyone, from watching around the world and joining us for, we welcome you to join us for the next episode of Believe, See, Decide. Until then, God bless you and take care, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen.
Good.
God bless.
God bless.